It is important to note that the following contains spoilers for the 5th episode of the 27th season of The Voice. It is over now. Daddy, we've made it so far. Blinds on The Voice Season 27 has reached its final day of competition. And lastly, do you agree with me? It is highly likely that tonight will be a night filled with a great deal of disappointment, because the coaches only have a few spots available on their rosters. What emotions would you experience if you were trying out for the opportunity of a lifetime, only to find out that your chances of being selected are reduced because the producers chose you on the very last day with the opportunity? We are fortunate because the coaches are infamous for saying things like, "Come back and audition." One would think that putting oneself through public humiliation and anguish once more would be as simple as that. Nevertheless, here we are, sadly. According to a quote attributed to John Legend, "Sometimes I find my best people on the last day of blinds." Will the prophecy really come to pass? When the coaches' chairs are attempting to return to first position, they become stuck at some time throughout the night. You may call it karma for allowing some artists to pass through due to the limit on the list. This is the game, regardless of what happens. It is not always the intention of games to be fair. What it really means is that it provides the supporters and myself with something to moan about. The blind auditions are brought to a dramatic conclusion in the 27th season of The Voice season. It is time to find out who finishes in the top 48. The hour that John Legend needs to compete and win The Voice. The last night of our concert will begin with a performance by Jay Amo. After serving in the military for a period of time, he has held a variety of occupations subsequently. The state of Tennessee is where Jay currently resides, yet he was born in Cuba. It is revealed to us that his last name is not Amo, but rather a reworking of his original last name, which no one has ever been able to correctly pronounce. Before the audition, I was already prepared to go, and it is a perfect match for his history of service in the military. The rendition of The A-Team by Ed Sheeran that Jay sings during his performance is the most authentic rendition that one could ever conceive. It has a pleasant taste. The tone is entirely flawless. Come on, Ginger, this is the version that we have been waiting for. Eventually, Michael Bublé completes the 4-chair spin after a brief period of doubt. The conclusion is that it is not necessarily a terrible idea to save the best for the very final night. There are 4 possible possibilities, and each coach offers a pitch that appears to be a good fit for Jay and his voice. According to John Legend, his voice is ethereal. It has been described as ethereal and distinctive by Adam Levine. They are able to capture him. Nevertheless, after teasing us with the fact that the best people come on the last day, it is only natural that he will be joining Team Legend. Pablo Herrera is a native of San Diego, California, and he reminds us that the weather there is usually great during his performances. As Pablo was growing up in a church environment, his sister was the one who taught him music. She was the one who instructed him in the art of harmony. In addition to that, he imparted the technique to his 2 sons. It is Pablo's intention to provide for his sons and to teach them that it is not always about having all the money in the world all the time. Jealous by Labyrinth is the song that Pablo performs at his audition. The song brings back memories of the time when he divorced his wife, with whom he shares parental responsibilities for their children. The performance is gentle and introspective, and it possesses a sense of purity and depth within it. It is an exceptionally powerful performance that shines through all of the notes that are within his repertoire. Everyone else, with the exception of Adam Levine, gives him 3 chair turns. The EGOT winner is the one who comes out on top, despite the fact that every coach is anxious to get him to their team and is pitching perfectly to what Pablo wants to hear when he hears it. The roster of Pablo Herrera's club is now complete with the selection of John Legend. Another battle between Bublé and Ballerini. Despite the fact that Brooke Wood may sound like the epitome of a country diver, she actually moved to Queens after leaving Indianapolis after her adventure. Due to the fact that her father was the lead guitarist for a country band in her hometown, she does have a little bit of country music running through her veins. She reveals that the only time she ever witnessed her father crying was when he witnessed her perform, and she has done so herself when touring the country with a rock and roll show. The narrative takes a tragic turn when she passes away in the year 2021. The song Save Me by Jelly Roll is the one that she performs as an homage to her father. Despite the fact that the song contains elements of both blues and doo-wop, she might be described as having a transcending tone. Although she has a good voice, it is not necessarily broadcastable on the radio. In terms of country radio, it is a little bit too shiny. Having said that, Kelsea Ballerini, who is aware of the rock and rasp genres, claims that the differences between them are what make her interesting. On the other hand, she also makes the argument that in contrast to the winner of the EGOT, she has not been awarded any Grammys and would like to be awarded anything. I believe it's a case of reverse psychology that comes with not having a large trophy cabinet. It will work. It is the girlies who stick together. Simone Marijic, who hails from Los Angeles and is 20 years old, is currently savoring the most wonderful years of her life at the University of Virginia, where she is pursuing studies in music and history. It was just another realization that within every joke comes a hint of reality, and while her Croatian immigrant parents joke that they wished she would have gone into medicine, it was just another realization that they wish she had. Mother, there is still time for you. I do hope that your daughter does not get a chance to sit in the chair. The song Favorite Crime by Olivia Rodrigo is the one that Simone puts on for her performance. She has a voice that is an exact duplicate. To give credit where credit is due, Kelsea might have instantly banged her button, hoping that the pop singer was genuinely teasing them. Towards the end of the presentation, Simone reveals that she has had some technical training. Considering that musicians such as Olivia Rodrigo are at the forefront of popular music in the present day, it is not surprising that one would want to be a part of the team that creates a voice that leaves an impression. At the very last second, Michael Bublé makes a turn, simply to reignite the conflict between Ballerini and Bublé. Kelsea is under the impression that she is hers. After everything is said and done, the young singer decides to take a chance on Kelsea and join Team Ballerini. Alana Lenais is the pride of Toledo, Ohio, and she is a member of the Holy Toledo. She is the sixth child out of a total of 9. It has the sound of a party. She claims that her life was like a fairy tale up until the point when her family lost their home when she was 7 years old. She was under the impression that she was on an everlasting sleepover. Therefore, she was unaware that she was homeless. With a life filled with challenges, she reveals that music has been the glue that has held the family together. This chance has the potential to be a game changer for her family if they have a story of optimism. When she sings Jealous by Julia Michaels, she entirely reimagines the song and adds her own distinctive tone to the piece. This might have easily been a 4-chair turn if John Legend had not already filled his slots. Other chairs would have been available. During this performance, the coaches are standing there on their feet. All of them put in a lot of effort for Alana since they are aware that she is a genuine challenger for the crown. Shots are unquestionably being fired. Alana decides to take a gamble and join Team Kelsea in order to achieve her goal of reaching the top. It is an option that is not only absolutely fascinating, but also one that has the potential to work to her benefit. Alana has the potential to surpass the Ballerini bunch due to the fact that her roster contains a number of vocalists who are comparable to her. On The Voice, Michael Bublé displays his talents and traits. First, let's talk about Adam David, the man who has 2 first names. From the time he was 8 years old, he has been singing and playing the guitar. He is originally from Fort Lauderdale. During his career as a musician, he performs in a variety of settings. He confesses that he was an addict, but that music was a significant factor in his recovery from addiction. He discloses that he frequents that location on a weekly basis in order to play there and assist others in discovering hope. As much of a part of him as addiction and recovery are, music is also a part of him. Adam performs Baby, I Love Your Way by Peter Frampton with the hopes of evoking feelings of inspiration. Here's a really reliable and secure tune. Due to the fact that his performance is based on years of experience, it takes some time for it to take off, which is why Michael Bublé is able to convince him to perform on a single chair turn. At the beginning of the blind audition procedure, would he have been given a greater number of opportunities? Most likely. However, that is the manner that the cookie breaks apart. She is only 18 years old, but Naomi Soleil is knowledgeable beyond her years. The tone of the artist that she is established by the fact that her video package in which she mentions her unique timbre occurs before the audition. Naomi, who hails from Maplewood, New Jersey, makes the decision to perform the song Stars by Grace Potter and the Nocturnals. Although it is a really ambitious performance, the question is whether or not it was sufficient at this point in the blind auditions. There is a great deal of opportunity for her to develop, but Michael Bublé and Adam Levine have decided to give Naomi a chance despite the fact that they are playing a game of fear and not knowing what will happen next. In spite of the fact that she has other choices, she decides to join Michael Bublé and complete his roster. Given that he freely confesses that he has no idea what genre the song was, why is that acceptable? As much as I hate to say it, Naomi is not going to be able to go to the next round. At last, Adam Levine acquires a country singer to perform for him. She is Tori Template, and she is coming all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. She claims that she fell in love with music at a very young age, and that she grew up with artists such as Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, and Demi Lovato being her musical influences. I have a feeling that she was watching the Disney Channel a lot. Despite the fact that she works a 9-to-5 job, she continues to consider music to be a pastime. However, she is hopeful that the voice will be able to transform the hobby into a career. In light of the fact that she has amassed a sizable following on social media, she exemplifies the characteristics that define Generation Z. The fact that she was included on playlists played in coffee shops all around the world made her more well-known. Lover by Taylor Swift is the song that she performs at her blind audition. With her guitar, it is extremely clear that she has a specific goal in mind for the trajectory of her professional career. The tone that she uses has a slight ping that the original does not have. It has more oomph. When Taylor Swift has reached the point where she has controlled the world, everyone is looking for the next iteration of her. The competition between Michael Bublé and Adam Levine is fierce, but Adam Levine and his affinity to the guitar make the most sense for her future musical endeavors. It is possible that this combination will result in a victory. While Adam Levine was competing on The Voice alongside Blake Shelton, he was constantly saying, "Woe is me," in reference to the fact that he had not been able to achieve his goal, finding the ideal country singer. In addition, would you be interested in knowing that Adam Levine will not only have the opportunity to audition for a country artist at the final blind audition of season 27, but he will also have the opportunity to do it without any other competitors? None of them, not even the resident country star for this season. Because of his father's employment, Trevor Dawson, who is now 17 years old, spent his childhood in a camper. Both he and his sister occupied the same room. Despite the fact that the senior in high school has never gone to California before, there is a first time for everything, right? At first glance, one could get the impression that his passion for red dirt outlaw country is nothing more than a PR stunt. To a certain extent it is. Religiously by Bailey Zimmerman is performed by him in a manner that is a little bit cheesy and amateurish. There is a possibility that Trevor was not chosen earlier. Nonetheless, because Adam is in dire need of his tale being completed, Trevor is the final member of his squad. The Voice illustrates the problems that came with the blind auditions. With a surname like Casanova, are we ready for more of the baby-making music that Michael Bublé has been talking about throughout the entire season on the show that focuses on families? His home base is in Washington, District of Columbia, where he is working hard to make a name for himself in the music industry in the nation's capital. Having worked as a street performer, he has gained valuable experience that has enabled him to develop his skills. Bobby Caldwell is the one who made the song "Do for Love, What You Won't Do for Love" famous, and he sings it. There is a good chance that this rendition would be included on some playlists for the bedroom. Although he gives a good effort, the fact that he has to contend with rosters that are almost entirely full ultimately proves to be frustrating for him. Despite the fact that the coaches are making an effort to assert that it was ambitious, in addition to their own criticisms, the fact remains that their lack of turn was due to the structure of The Voice. William Casanova would have been a member of a team 2 episodes earlier, and he would have been listening to the Canadian crooner talk about music that is intended to make babies. It's frustrating to see how things turn out. The versa of Cornelius. Listen, what a remarkable individual. Patsy Montana's "I Wanna Be a Cowboy Sweetheart" is the song that he sings as he appears to The Voice wearing a sharpshooting orange outfit. He then sits in the green room and sings the song. This is something that is really close to my heart, because I am the author of a musical that was inspired by that particular generation of country music. However, it was clear that this was a novelty audition based on everything that Cornelius was presenting throughout the audition. Oh, and despite the fact that there was unquestionably plenty time for another singer to try out for the role of Adam's final performer, The Voice needed to keep the mystery surrounding who would be the final competitor. When it comes to Cornelius, there is nothing unlovable about him. His account of living with muscular dystrophy is both heartbreaking and inspiring. He has a deep and abiding affection for his spouse. He is not afraid. It's a lively man. Additionally, he is not afraid to take chances. The performance of Elvis Presley's "Burning Love" was extremely frustrating. When he is aware that he is capable of yodeling, it is disheartening to see him squander the potential on a track such as this one. His performance has a quality that is reminiscent of that of a lounge singer. None of this is his fault. The tune is the one. The final rosters of the top 48 teams are presented below, and it is rather interesting to see how the teams are divided up. Although there are a number of talented singers that each coach can use as their all-in tribute, the question remains, which singer will be able to keep them going until the very end? Kelsey Ballerini has a roster that appears to be dominated by women. The team that Adam Levine is leading includes a few underdogs. Soul music is the driving force behind John Legend's team. One of the most different lineups is that of Michael Bublé. It would make perfect sense if the stories of the past were to be repeated. There are going to be some challenging decisions that Michael Bublé will have to make, but his vocalists are not going to cannibalize one another in order to occupy the specific positions for each genre. However, despite the fact that it is difficult to predict who will emerge victorious from this season's competition, the battles are sure to be thrilling.